Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're going deep into Solana today. You know, that blockchain, that was supposed to be the Ethereum killer. Well, we've got some research here that suggests that Solana's future might not be as bright as we once thought. Some worrying signs have been popping up. So let's unpack all of it. And we'll start with meme coins.
Yeah, the meme coin craze on Solana was a fascinating thing to watch. Back in January, the market cap for these tokens went up to over $25 billion. And then
Of course.
the crash came. And now that market cap is down to $11.5 billion.
Wow, yeah. I mean, we saw some pretty bizarre tokens come out on Solana. Like, remember the official Trump token?
Yeah.
Trump? That went
Yeah.
from a high of $103 all the way down to $18. And we'll talk about a wild ride.
Yeah.
But this is just about, the ups and downs of meme coins. This points to a bigger issue for Solana, which is...
Rug pulls. Right. Yeah, the meme coin frenzy. It attracted a lot of people looking to make a quick buck.
And rug pulls. We're developers.
Manipulate the market and disappear with investors' money became a real problem on Solana. And what's really interesting here is how these rug pulls, it goes beyond just the financial losses, for investors. It really erodes trust in the entire ecosystem.
Exactly. It makes people hesitant to invest.
Yeah.
Or build on the platform. And that lack of trust can be a really difficult thing to overcome.
Moving beyond the meme coins, we're seeing some other red flags for Solana when we look at its network growth. Specifically, the declining trading volume on Solana's decentralized exchanges, the DEXs. In the last week alone, DEX volume has dropped by almost 25%.
Solana's DEX volume has now been surpassed by BNB Chain, which is concerning. Declining DEX volume often signals decreasing user interest or a shift in preference to other blockchains. And that's not a good sign for a platform.
Right. So it's not just the meme coin chaos that's impacting Solana. There's some deeper structural issues here.
Yeah.
Speaking of structural issues, we can't ignore the impact on stable coins and fees. Stable coins are essentially the backbone of a lot of crypto operations. And we've seen a worrying drop in stablecoin activity. On Solana,
a significant drop. In stablecoin supply, actually,
$772 million just the past week. And to make things worse, Ethereum, Solana's biggest competitor, saw the opposite trend with their stablecoin supply, increasing by $1.1 billion over that same period. Wow, so it's almost like two different stories. One thriving, one struggling, and this decline in stablecoin activity is directly impacting the fees generated on the Solana network. We're talking about a massive drop from $31 million in daily fees down to just $2 million. So if fewer people are using the network, those transaction fees plummet. Yeah. And that can really put a strain on the blockchain's sustainability. Exactly. It's a domino effect. But let's take a look at what the technical analysts are saying about Solana's price action. Right. Because those charts, they can often tell a story of their own. So for our viewers on CoinTalk Podcast, who might not be familiar with technical analysis, it's essentially a way of using historical price data and chart patterns to try and predict future price movements. So it's like trying to spot those recurring patterns that give us some clues about where the market might be headed. So what are the charts telling us about Solana? What are those candlestick patterns revealing?
Well, Solana's showing some classic bearish signals. Remember that high of $300 back in January? Well, since then, it's been struggling to stay above a key ascending trend line. And that's upward sloping line that connects the lows on the price chart. And it's generally considered a bearish sign when an asset breaks below this line. And to make matters worse, we're also seeing a death cross pattern forming.
Okay, death cross. That sounds a little ominous. Is this something we should be worried about?
Well, this pattern, where a short-term moving average crosses below a long-term one, often suggests that selling pressure is increasing, which can lead to further price declines. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And wait, there's more. On top of all this, Solana is approaching the neckline of a double top pattern, which, if it's broken, could signal a very serious decline.
Yikes. So multiple bearish signals flashing red right now. And the article we have here suggests that. Based on these technical patterns, Solana could be heading for a 40% drop, which could push SOL all the way down to $110. That's a scary thought for anyone holding SOL right now.
It's important to remember that technical analysis isn't a crystal ball. It's all about probabilities, not certainties, but these patterns are definitely something to be mindful of.
Absolutely. And we're going to continue this deep dive into Solana, so stay tuned to CoinTalk Podcast. We'll be right back.
It's easy to get caught up in all the, doom and gloom of those technical indicators, but it's important to remember that Solana is more than just, a chart. It's a technology.
With a vibrant community and an active ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure. Let's not forget that Solana didn't just, appear out of thin air. It got a lot of traction for its speed and scalability, handling a high volume of transactions at, incredibly low cost. That's a huge advantage in a world where network congestion is a real problem.
Exactly. Solana made significant strides towards challenging Ethereum, and attracting a really talented pool of developers. And built a pretty robust ecosystem of decentralized applications.
What happened? Why is Solana seemingly losing momentum? Was it just the meme coin chaos and the rug pulls, or is there more to it? If you're just joining us here on CoinTalk Podcast, we're breaking down the factors that have led to Solana's recent struggles. It's likely a combination of factors. The meme coin craze has definitely played a role, but you also have the broader crypto bear market. That has also had an impact. Even in a bear market, though, some projects do better than others.
Right. So what might be holding Solana back?
Well, one persistent criticism of Solana is the issue of centralization. Solana is often touted as a decentralized blockchain, but there are some concerns about the level of control held by the Solana Foundation and a small group of validators. This perceived lack of decentralization can make investors hesitant.
Yeah, I mean, decentralization is like it.
Yeah.
The core principle of blockchain technology. So if there are doubts about how decentralized a platform really is, it's going to have an impact on trust. And I think it's worth mentioning here on CoinTalk Podcast that the degree of decentralization is a complex issue. Different projects have different approaches.
Oh, absolutely. It's not a black and white issue. Another challenge for Solana has been the network outages. There have been several significant outages.
Which have raised concerns about its reliability and stability. I mean, imagine if your bank just went offline for a day or two. Reliability is crucial, especially when we're talking about financial transactions. People need to be able to trust that the system's going to be there when they need it.
Precisely. On top of all of that, Solana's also facing stiff competition from other Layer 1 blockchains. The space is incredibly competitive with new projects constantly emerging. Solana isn't the only game in town anymore.
Yeah, you have projects like Avalanche, Cardano, even Layer 2 solutions on Ethereum, all vying for same users and developers. It's a crowded field, and it seems like Solana might be losing some ground.
Let's go back to those technical indicators for a second. We talked about the death cross and the double top pattern, both suggesting a potential decline in Solana's price. Are there any bullish signals or indicators that could point to a reversal of this trend? Anything to give investors a little bit of hope?
While those current technical patterns do paint a somewhat bearish picture, it's all about probabilities, not certainties. And there are a few things to watch for that could indicate a potential reversal. Okay, so give us some hope here. What should we be looking for?
One thing to watch is a break above the neckline of that double top pattern. If Solana's price can rally and move decisively above that level, it could invalidate the bearish signal and potentially signal a new uptrend.
So it's like a race against time. The bulls need to step in and push the price up before that bearish pattern is confirmed. What else?
Keep an eye on that ascending trend line we mentioned earlier. If Solana's price can find support at that trend line
and bounce back, it would indicate that the bulls are still in control. However, if the price breaks below that trend line, it would be a further sign of weakness. It could trigger another leg down.
So we're at a crossroads here. Solana's facing some serious challenges, but it's not game over yet. What steps could Solana take to regain its footing, to turn things around? What advice would you give if you were talking to the Solana team right now? Well, one key area they need to address is that concern about centralization, increasing the number of validators, improving the distribution of voting power, enhancing transparency in governance could all help build confidence among investors.
So more decentralization, more transparency. Seems like a good starting point. What else?
They also need to prioritize network stability, investing in infrastructure, enhancing security measures, proactively addressing vulnerabilities would go a long way in preventing those outages and building trust.
Reliability is king. Anything else?
Fostering a thriving developer ecosystem is critical. Attracting top talent, providing developer-friendly tools, supporting innovative decentralized applications will help them stay competitive and attract new users.
Right, because a blockchain is only as strong as the community that supports it. What about those rug pulls?
Yeah, that's where education and awareness come in. Solana needs to tackle that rug pull issue head on. Promoting responsible investing, providing resources to help users stay informed, can help restore trust.
So, it's not just about fixing the technical issues. It's about addressing the perception problems, rebuilding trust, and fostering a strong and healthy community. And for our viewers on CoinTalk Podcast, I think it's a really important takeaway. Crypto is about the technology,
Yeah.
but it's also about the people who are building it, using it, and investing in it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The future of Solana, of the entire crypto space, depends on the collective effort of developers.
Investors and the wider community. It's a collaborative journey.
Well said. And for those of you watching on CoinTalk Podcast, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Solana's future? Do you think it can overcome these challenges? Leave a comment below.
Well, let us know.
No, and if you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends who might be interested in the world of crypto. The more informed we are, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this exciting and ever-evolving space.
Yeah.
But we're not done yet. Stay tuned for the final part of our Solana deep dive, coming up right after this short break. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Solana, from the meme coin chaos to the technical red flags. But before we wrap things up, let's zoom out a little bit and consider what Solana's journey tells us about the blockchain space in general.
I think Solana's story is a really interesting case study. It highlights the challenges that a lot of blockchain projects face as they try to, scale and gain mainstream adoption, balancing innovation, security, decentralization, and user experience. It's a
Complex
task.
It's a tough act to balance for sure.
Yeah, like walking a tightrope.
Yeah. One wrong step.
Yeah.
And the whole thing could come crashing down.
Exactly. And I think it's important to remember that crypto is still a relatively young industry. We're going to see projects rise and fall, innovations and setbacks. It's all part of the process.
Yeah. It's a constant evolution.
And that's why it's so crucial for anyone interested in crypto to stay informed. That's what we're all about here at CoinTalk Podcast. We're trying to help you navigate this exciting and often confusing world. Speaking of the bigger picture, what are some of the key trends or developments that you think will shape the future of blockchain?
One trend that I'm really interested in is the increasing focus on interoperability. Basically, building bridges between different blockchains. For a long time, these blockchains have existed in silos, unable to communicate with each other, but that's starting to change.
Breaking down the walls.
Between different countries.
Allowing for more trade and collaboration, that could be a game changer. Yeah. I mean, for one thing, it could lead to a more interconnected and collaborative ecosystem. Imagine a world where you can seamlessly move assets and data between different blockchains without having to worry about compatibility issues. That would be a huge step forward.
Yeah. No more walled gardens.
Right.
What else is on your radar?
Another trend worth watching is the growing interest in decentralized finance. DeFi. We've talked about stablecoins, but DeFi goes way beyond that. It's about creating a more open and accessible financial system where people can lend, borrow, trade, and invest without the need for traditional intermediaries like banks.
On Solana, we've been a big player in DeFi.
Absolutely. Solana's speed and low fees made it an attractive platform for DeFi developers.
But as we've discussed, some of the recent challenges raise concerns about Solana's long-term viability in this space.
So, bit of a mixed bag. What do you think the future holds for Solana and DeFi? Trinal,
You'll have to say for sure.
I think, is Solana can address its current challenges and regain the trust of the community. It could still be a major force in DeFi, but it's also possible that some of the blockchains will emerge as
stronger contenders. Only time will tell.
Yeah, the crypto space is full of twists and turns, that's for sure. And that's why it's so important to stay informed and still curious. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Solana, hit that like button and subscribe to CoinTalk Podcast for more in-depth discussions on all things crypto. And don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts on Solana's future. We love hearing from you. But for now, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for joining us here in the deep dive.